Dear learner, once again I welcome you on the platform of MOOCs. Today we will have a lecture on legal rights of employees in India. The rights of employees are human rights. If we can't uphold these rights in the workplace, then we are failing as a society. That is what been clearly said in its own manner as a Manali Chakrabarti, an Indian trade union leader, a union leader. This has explained justice in the workplace is not a privilege; it is a right. The law protects these rights, and we must be vigilant in ensuring its enforcement. Nariman, another renowned Indian lawyer who has given these words about the rights of the employees. Employment without rights is a slave. This is what it has been said by Kailash Satyapathy, a Nobel Peace Laureate and child rights activities. He again says the Indian Constitution and labor laws provide a shield against exploitation, and it is our duty to utilize them for a dignified and safe work environment. Employee legal rights in India are protected by a comprehensive framework that ensures fair treatment, just working conditions, and protections from exploitation. The foundation of these rights in built on both statutory laws and judicial interpretations. Indian labor laws address many concerns, including minimum salaries, working hours, leave rights, workplace safety, and discrimination protection. The Industrial Dispute Act, the Factories Act, and the Employees Provident Funds and Miscellaneous Provisions Act are these three significant pieces of legislation that defines employees, employers, and rights obligations. Furthermore, the judiciary uses legal precedents to interpret and uphold these rights. These legal measures jointly aim to establish a friendly and equitable work environment, encouraging well being. Some of the key legal rights of the employees of India that we will discuss today. The first that we say the constitutional framework, we will see it. The Constitution guarantees certain rights to all citizens, which is also extends to employees. Rights such as equity, freedom, equality, and the right to form association and unions are the fundamentals to ensure fair treatment in the workplace. Labor laws. India has a robust set of labor laws that address different aspects of employment. Some key laws include Industrial Disputes Act 1947. Enacted in 1947, the Industrial Dispute Act, which is generally known as IDA, remains a cornerstone of Indian labor law, meticulously weaving safety net to employee and a framework of harmonious industrial relations. Its intricate disparity interviews several crucial threads. Then, second, dispute resolutions. Recognizing the inevitable of disagreements, the IDI prioritizes in peaceful resolutions. Conciliation officers act as bridge builders, while arbitration tribunals and industrial courts offer avenues for impartial adjudications, minimizing recourse to disruptive strikes and lockouts. Workers' protections. The Act champions employee rights. It mandates a compensation for layoffs, prescribes stringent procedures for retrenchment, and the shield works from unfair labor practices. It acts as a bulwark against arbitrary dismissal and ensures dignified treatment even in adverse circumstances. Next is the balancing rights and responsibility. The RDI acknowledges the right to protect but balances it with the need for operational stability. It lays down parameters for preamble strike actions, safeguarding essential services and public welfare from undue disruptions. The delicate equilibrium ensures both fair workers' representation and the reasonable industrial conduct. Next comes to the empowering bipartisan. Recognizing the values of the workers' participation, the idea encourages the formation of works committees for fostering direct communications between employers and the employees. These mini democracies within establishment allow workers to voice concern, negotiate works conditions, and contribute to decision making, nourishing a culture of mutual respect and collaboration. Beyond its individual components, the IDI's strength lies in its holistic approach. It functions as an ecosystem where each element reinforces the others, culminating in a stable and productive industrial landscape. It is a testament to India's commitment to creating a fair and balanced workplace where interests of both employers and employees can thrive in harmony. The second act we find in this row is the Factories Act 1948. Enacted in 1948, the Factories Act stands a cornerstone of Indian labor legislation, meticulously safeguarding the well being of factory workers. Its comprehensive framework encompasses number one, workplace safety and health. Rigorous regulations dictate safe working conditions encompassing machinery safeguards, adequate ventilations, and sanitation facilities. Working hours, overtime, and night shifts are meticulously regulated to mitigate fatigue and potential harm. Next is the child and the adolescent labor protections. Stringent restrictions impaired child labor, particularly in hazardous industries, and impose minimum age requirement. Dedicated regulations ensure adolescents' working hours, breaks, and mandatory health certificates complying with specific standards. Next, we find women's labor protections. Enhanced protections limit women's working hours, especially night shift, and mandate provisions for maternity leave and dignified nursing breaks. Further, it is been next said that the factory registration and licensing. A robust system mandates factory licensing and registration, guaranteeing compliance with the safety standards and facilitating regular inspections. Inspections of enforcement. The government is vested with the power to appoint inspectors who regularly assess factories for adherence to the Act's provisions. Stringent penalties are prescribed for non compliance. The Factories Act of 1948 remains pivotal in establishing workers' welfare benchmark within India's industrial sectors. Although subject to the subsequent amendment and updates, its core principles continue to protect the health, safety, and dignified millions of factory workers across the nation. The third in the row, we find the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952. So one that was in 1947 Act, second was 1948 Act, and this is on 1952. Enacted in 1952, the Employees Provident Funds and Miscellaneous Provisions Act (EPF Act) is a cornerstone of India's social security framework. It operates as a mandatory contributory scheme mandating employer and employee contributions toward a provident fund for eligible employee. These contributions accumulate over time, providing a financial cushion upon retirement or in a case of certain contingencies like disability or death. The EPF Act signifies lies in its multiple prolonged approach. For example, financial security, accumulated funds create long-term retirement corpus, offering financial stability later in life. Then there is a contributory investment. Both employer and employee contributions fosters shared responsibility and ownership of the funds. Next come the contingency protections. life and disability benefits, provides financial support in unforeseen circumstances, safeguarding families. Then there's the formal sector inclusion. By bringing eligible employees under the scheme's umbrella, the Act promotes financial inclusion and security within the framework of the workforce. This is within the formal workforce. While on the universal applicable, the EPF Act plays a crucial role in securing the financial future of the millions of Indian workers. Its focus on long term savings, shared responsibilities, and contingency protections makes it a vital cog in the nation's social safety network. Working hours and conditions. India's legal landscape points a diverse picture of employees' rights regarding working hours and conditions. The Code on Wages 2019 sets the fundamental standard within the maximum 9 hours work day and 40 hours work week. This allows for a flexible scheduling across 4 or 5 days, catering a modern work style. Overtime work beyond these limits earns additional compensation, ensuring fair remuneration for extended hours. Beyond hours, the law stipulates mandatory rest periods, safety standards and workplaces, and minimum wages thresholds to guarantee the basic economic security. Leave entitlement cater to the various needs, including annual sick and maternity or paternity leave, promoting work life balance. To address grievance and the dispute, mechanisms like grievance redressal committees and labor courts safeguard employees' rights and facilities equitable resolutions. However, despite these legal protections, challenges remain. The vast informal sector of often operates outside these regulations, exposing workers to a precarious schedule, unsafe environment, and low wages. Additionally, achieving gender equality in the workplace continues to be a work in progress, with women facing disparities in pay, career progressions, and safety concerns. Recognizing these gaps, ongoing efforts aim to bridge the divide. Initiatives like formalization drives and a stricter enforcement of labor laws seeks to bring informal workers under the umbrella of legal protections. Furthermore, policy promoting equal pay and opportunity strive to create a more equitable and drive workforce landscape. India's legal framework for working hours and conditions offer a comprehensive set of rights, albeit with these ongoing challenges and room for improvement. The continuous evolution of policies and regulation reflects a commitment for creating a fair and safe work environment for all Indian employees. Social security is another very important aspect here. The social security forms a crucial pillar of legal rights for employees in India, providing financial cohesion during the life's uncertainties. It is multifaceted tapestry woven for various schemes and laws, guaranteeing benefits like pensions, healthcare, and disability support. It is a core area. Social security empowers employees with financial security during retirement, accidents, sickness, maternity, and even when there is a death, then and even unemployment stages. The onus for these benefits falls on both employees and employees, with who contributes a percentage of their wages to various funds like employment employee provident fund. This contribution becomes a safety net, offering peace of mind and ensuring dignified standard of living even when income ceases. While security benefits extend to the healthcare provisions through schemes like Employees State Insurance Corporation ESIC and maternity leave with full pay, safeguarding the well-being of the employees and their families. It assesses Essence, Social Security in India grants employees a fundamental right to a secure and dignified existence, not just during their active working hours or years, but also throughout the twilight years. There is an anti-discrimination laws. India's legal landscape regarding employees' discrimination is a patchwork, lacking a single and comprehensive law. However, various statutes offer protections against specific forms of prejudice. The Constitution guarantees equality before the law and prohibits discrimination based on factors like religion, caste, sex, disability. Several specific law tackles gender bias such as the Equal Remuneration Act, acquiring equal pay for equal work, and the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act, which offers safeguard against the harassment. Laws like Rights of Pension Persons with Disability Act and the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act redress discrimination faced by these groups. While individual laws exist, a broader legislature framework covering all the forms of workplace discrimination is still awaited. Nevertheless, employees have recourse through judicial pronouncements and internal company policies upholding these rights, a fair and unbiased work environment. Another area that is here is the terminations and redundancy. The legal landscape surrounding employees with termination and redundancy in India is intricate with the imbues with fundamental employees protections. Termination typically arising from the misconducts of performance issues mandates procedural fairness encompassing notice period and potential inquiries. Retrenchment denoting legal scale job loss due to economic or technology factors carrying a strict regulation. It necessitates government sanctions and substantial severance package for impacted employees. Redundancy stemming from the obviations of a specific position permits termination only if no suitable alternative roles exist within the organization. Indian court upholds the just cause principle, encouraging terminations are the grounded in justifiable and non-discriminatory reasons. This intricate framework of safeguards employee rights, albeit navigating its complexities necessitates meticulous consideration of applicable labor laws and the specific circumstances of each case. While the previous overview sketches the broader landscape of employees' rights in India, a deeper dive reveals intricate details and challenges within this crucial arena. Let's explore some of the specific aspects for more comprehensive understanding. For example, category specific rights. Contract workers is the area. This growing segment often faces vulnerability due to non permanent contracts and lack of access to benefit like social security and paid leave. Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act 1970 attempts to address these issues by stipulating minimum wages, safety standards, and equal treatments with regular employees. However, implementation remains a challenge, necessitating a stronger enforcement mechanism. Migrant workers. This mobile workforce contributes significantly to India's economy but faces unique hardship. The Interstate Migrant Workmen Regulation of Employment and Conditions of Services Act 1979 aims to protect their wages, working conditions, and access to facilities like housing and health care. However, challenges persist in ensuring these rights are effectively enforced across the state boundaries. Then, and next is the women employees. A specific law like the Maternity Benefit Act, Sexual Harassment Act, and other crucial protections for women. However, gender pay gaps and discrimination in the promotion continues to be pressing concern. Further, strengthening a legal framework and promoting cultural shift towards gender equality are crucial steps. Enforcement mechanism and the challenges that we find is number one is the labor inspectors. These officials are responsible for enforcing labor laws. Yet, issues like the understaffing and the corruption often hampers their effectiveness, strengthening inspectors adopting technology for better monitoring and promoting transparency, an essential reform for improving enforcement. Grievance redressal mechanism. Internal grievance redressal committee within the companies and the labor courts offer a venue for addressing employee concern. However, long drawn out legal processes and lack of awareness about these mechanisms often discourage employees from seeking redressal. Streamlining procedure, providing legal aid, and raising awareness can enhance accessibility and effectiveness. Then there is the role of unions. Trade unions plays a vital role in collective bargaining and advocating for employees' rights. However, challenges like declining unionization rates, limited reach in the normal sector necessitates efforts to strengthen unions and promote their role in protecting workers' interests. Protections from discrimination and harassment. This is another very important area. Gender discrimination is one of the factor on it. The Equal Remuneration Act addresses equal pay, but subtle forms of discriminations like unequal promotions opportunities or biased performance evaluations can persist. Recognizing these forms of seeking redressal through internal mechanism or legal channels is crucial. Another is the sexual harassment. While the Act outlined a reporting procedure and safeguards, navigating internal complaints committee can be daunting. Familiarity with the external complaints mechanism and legal opinion empowers victim to seek justice effectively. Another area is the caste based discriminations. The Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Act mandates protection, but systematic biases can be deeply ingrained. Understanding specific vulnerabilities and seeking support from the designated authorities like the National Commission of Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes can be effective. When we go through the judicial area, then judicial protections and internal standards is also very important. Judiciary, the main judiciary plays a key role in upholding employees' rights through landmark judgments. Cases like Vishaka versus the state of Rajasthan established principles of workplace sexual harassment prevention, while Bandhu Mukta Morcha versus Union of India highlights the need for effective rehabilitations of a former bonded laborers. Continued judicial activism remains crucial in addressing emerging challenges and interpreting labor laws. International labor standards. India has ratified various internal labor organization ILO convention pertaining to workplace safety, minimum wages, freedom of association, and child labor. Aligning domestic laws with the international standards and effective implementing these conventions can further strengthen the employee protections. Let's illuminate India's intricate transparency of the employee's right through compelling case studies, showcasing how legal frameworks translate into a tangible outcomes for individual and community. Case study number one, fighting for equal pay in technology. The scenario, despite consistently exceeding performance benchmark, a female software engineer in Bangalore received a significantly lower salary than her male colleagues within similar experience and qualification. Legal framework. The Equal Remuneration Act 2010. Action taken. The engineer, supported by the union, filed a complaint with the Internal Grievance Redressal Committee. However, facing an unsatisfactory resolution, she approached a labor court. Outcome. The court, based on her performance records and industry benchmarks, ruled in favor of the engineer, ordering the company to pay her equal pay and compensate for the past disparity. Significance. This case highlights the importance of raising awareness about subtle forms of gender discrimination and effectiveness of pursuing legal avenues of the redressal. Second case that we can look here as a case study is the overcoming sexual harassment in hospitality. A scenario: a young waitress in a Delhi hotel faced persistent sexual harassment from her manager. Fearful of repercussions, she initially remained silent. Legal framework: a sexual harassment of women work at workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. Action taken. After confiding in a colleague, the waitress sought guidance from an NGO specializing in workplace harassment case. The NGO helped her file a complaint with the internal committee and subsequently approached the district court. Outcome: the court, based on the witness testimonies and the medical records, convicted the manager of sexual harassment and ordered compensation for the waitress. The hotel faced sanction for failing to provide a safe working environment. Significance. This case emphasizes the importance of assessing support networks and legal aid in facing harassment and potential for holding employees accountable for the creating a hostile work environment. The third case study we can find here is the migrant workers fighting for minimum wages. Scenario: a group of migrant construction workers in Mumbai were paid significant less than the minimum wage stipulated by the code on the wages. They lacked awareness of their rights and feared reprisals from the contractor. Legal framework: the Code on Wages 2019. Action: within the support of a local labor rights organization, the workers filed a complaint with the Labor Department. The department investigated and found clear violation of minimum wages regulation. Outcome: the contractor was directed to pay the workers their wages with wages and penalties. The intervention also led to increased awareness of minimum wages rights among the migrant workers in the region. Significance. This case highlighted the challenges faced by the vulnerable groups like migrant workers and the crucial role of advocacy organization in ensuring right of protected. Fourth case also we can see is the very important is the unionization securing safe working condition in garment factories. Scenario: workers in the garment factory in Chennai faced unsafe working conditions including long hours, inadequate ventilations and lack of fire safety measures. Despite raising concern with the management, their pleas were ignored. Legal framework: the Trade Union Act 1926 and the Factories Act 1948. Actions taken: the workers formed a union and collectively negotiated with the management for improving working conditions. When negotiations failed, they filed a complaint with the labor inspector under the Factory Act. The outcome: the labor inspector, upon inspection, confirmed the violation and issued an order for the factory to rectify the deficiencies. The union's pressure also led to improved ventilation, shorter working hours, and enhanced fire safety measures. Significance: this case demonstrates the power of collective action through the unions in ensuring their wages and safe and healthy working conditions. These case studies, while mere glimpses into the vast canvas of the employees' rights in India, offer tangible examples for how legal frameworks, when actively pursued and understood, can empower individuals and communities to claim their rights space in the world of work. Remember, knowledge is power, and awareness of your rights coupled with the courage to pursue them holds the key to navigating the workplace with a dignified condition. While concluding, I can say that a multifaceted journey towards the empowerment is necessary. Understanding and ensuring employees' rights in India is not a singular act but a multifaceted journey requiring continuous efforts from the multiple stakeholders. Strengthening legal frameworks, improving enforcement mechanisms, promoting awareness, and fostering the culture of respect for the workers' rights and vital steps in ongoing process. By recognizing the specific challenges faced by the different categories of the employees, collaborating effectively, and embracing best practices from the international standards, India can create a truly empowering environment for its workers, paving the way for a culture where economic growth and human well-being go hand in hand. Thank you very much.